So I want to add to my conversation about, okay, so I'm religious. So I've also been to lots of different kinds of churches. I come from a Baptist background, but I've been to, Lutheran churches. I've gone there for concerts. I've gone to a Catholic church before. I've gone to Mormon church before. I used to have a Mormon Bible. And also another funny incident where I tried to wear a headscarf to my Baptist church after not being there for a while, and after, trying to get in the rhythm of practicing to be like a Muslim, wearing the headscarf sometimes. And my grandma, she ripped it off my head and she said, "What are you doing wearing something like that? You should be showing your hair. Like, I can't see you when you're wearing that." I was so embarrassed when she did that. I felt like, I have a right to wear whatever I want. If I want to wear a headscarf, I have the right to wear a headscarf. Who's gonna tell me, I can't do what I want, I can't believe what I want, I can't wear what I want? That should be up to me. Why should it be up to anyone else but me? This is my body. I walk in it. I live in it. I take care of it. No one else takes care of me the way I take care of me. I've even been practicing good wudu before prayer. I listen to the Muslim call to prayer. I think it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. If I could recommend a person to listen to anything, even if you're not a practicing Muslim, I recommend go on YouTube or something and type in Muslim call to prayer. It's the most spiritual, fulfilling sound that goes through your body and your soul that you'll ever hear. You feel it, and that's the way I feel. I know and I understand that that's how you should feel when you pray, and it makes you a good Christian. It makes you a good Muslim. It makes you good. Your soul is clean. And I've also been taking things from Buddhism. Since I was a kid, I saw a show about Buddhism on TV, and since then I've been practicing meditation, deep meditation, for years. Since I was maybe 8 years old, I've been practicing meditation, and it's so spiritually fulfilling. It makes my heart still, it makes my spirit and my soul still and peaceful, at rest. I feel calm, my mind is cleared of everything. When you go through the day and you have all this stress, the best stress relief is that spiritual fulfillment that you have, that you get from meditating, that you get from prayer, that you get from song and worship. If you don't have that, I find that a lot of people that I speak to who aren't religious, they are just so angry, resentful, bitter, and they can't change who they are. They won't change who they are. They seem to think that drugs are okay, fighting for stupid reasons is okay. How is that okay? Having weapons is okay, but they think that the community is wrong. They don't believe in, having extra wives. They don't believe in, spiritual fulfillment, baptism, cleaning your body. Part of the Muslim tradition, when you're praying, you clean yourself before you pray. Before I learned about the Muslim traditions, I used to feel like I wanted to baptize myself once a week. So I spent every Sunday, before I went to church, I would sit in the bathtub for an hour, in spiritual quietness, in the water, just feeling clean. being clean. It was, praying, listening to beautiful classical music, on my radio, closing my eyes, feeling the music, feeling the way I feel, getting into this deep meditative state. And it's wonderful. You spend an hour cleaning yourself, I think more people should practice that. Self-baptizing, self-cleaning. And that's what the Muslims do 5 times a day. They self-baptize. They self-clean themselves from the inside out, from the outside in. And, they have spiritual fulfillment every time they wash their arms, every time they wash their hands, and they wash their face, their nose, their ears, their hair, their feet. In the Bible, people did the feet cleansing all the time, and I think that's wonderful. I went through a period when I would actually take people into my bathroom and I would wash their feet when they entered my house, because I believe that my house is a sanctuary for peace and for purity. I don't encourage violence. I don't encourage negative feelings. If you're coming into my house, with an attitude, I'm not going to want you there. So, take off your shoes, put on some sandals, and wash your feet. Get some, spiritual cleansing. I also went through a long period when, there was a few years when I didn't go to church, I didn't pray, I didn't listen to spiritual songs. And that was because I was with someone who didn't support that, so, I just stopped everything altogether, and it was really sad. I went through a really terrible time in my life. It was the worst few years I've ever had. Doing things that were harmful to my body, instead of taking care of it. And when I got away from that person eventually, I came back to my roots of spirituality and, fixed myself. And, that's how it should be. You should always want to keep yourself, healthy, happy, clean, So that's that. And also, the people that I looked up to growing up were very spiritual people. I looked up to Jesus. I wanted to be like Jesus, just like him. And Mother Teresa was a very big influence on me. Princess Diana, when I eventually researched about her, I was like, oh, she's like a humanitarian and everything. She's a good leader to look up to. And these days, Princess Rania from the Middle East. So my religious beliefs, they're embedded into me, and I'm really proud of that. And if you're gonna be my friend, I would hope that you'd be proud of that too. For those of you who, think you're my friends, or who I thought you were my friends and you can't support my religious beliefs, well then I guess you're not my real friends then. And I bid you adieu, long and healthy lives. I hope you make good decisions in your life, but I've accepted you for who you are, and you're not all that good. Come on, some of the people I know are just selfish, controlling, manipulative, angry all the time. They complain. I have friends who shouldn't even be my friends. It's really stupid. See, it's the Christian way to accept people, no matter what. So, unfortunately, sometimes we let people walk all over us, and, sometimes we can't fight for ourselves, and we let other people win, we let other people take advantage of us, because we are nice. Things tend to happen to us. But you know what? Muslims, they are much stronger than Christians. And, that's why I really support them. And that's why I'm researching about them and trying to take what I can from their teachings. And, so I can, be stronger like that. Be a Muslim Christian, be, strong, not just, hanging at the wayside. My church has been, half Muslim, half Christian, forever. Of course, a lot of the Christians at the church don't support that. It's been like that forever. Our church used to share the church. In the morning it would be the Baptist Christians, in the afternoon it would be the Muslims. And yet there's still this, big gap between the two where they don't accept each other. Yet at the same time, in our bulletins we see all these stories about what's happening in the Middle East. We keep tabs on the Middle East, yet in our church we don't support them. And it doesn't make sense, huge hypocrites. And it really gets to me. I don't understand it. We have speakers that are Muslim who speak on behalf of Muslims in our church. And I don't get it. One time I really offended my grandmother, and I brought a Mormon to church. Great time. The greatest time ever. Once I brought an atheist to church, too. And back in high school, I had a boyfriend whose parents were pagan, and he came to Christ. And you know what? That's one of the best moments of my life. In 2003, I was baptized in my church by Andy Jones. He was the youth pastor. He was the pastor of my church. My boyfriend, he was my boyfriend at the time who came to Christ. And I thought that was just so beautiful. That was probably the most beautiful year I've ever had, spiritually fulfilling. For me to be able to say that, because of me, he's a Christian. Because of me, he has this new belief system that's going to carry him through life, and, it's always going to be there. When he's having a hard time, who does he turn to? He can turn to God. If he has a bad breakup, who can he turn to? He can turn to God. He's studying to be a doctor now, and, I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of his accomplishments, and, I really try to keep tabs on his life because, I see him as a success story, and I think he's really successful right now, and I think he's going to be successful in the future. He's playing football for his university. He's going to the University of Ottawa, and I was there a few years back in 2009. It was a great time. I, studied politics, and, yeah. So, I don't know. You guys have any stories like that, where you've been brought to Christ or you've been brought into religion? Religion is a new thing for you. Yeah, I love to hear that. I love to hear your story. I love to hear, how that happened, or if you brought somebody to Christ or to religion. I'd love to hear that. Those are the kinds of things that I definitely want to hear about. It excites me for sure. Yeah. So, see you guys. Thanks for listening.